Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Insuring India, a podcast by Digit Insurance. I'm your host Sabri Saran. Customers, as you know, are the center or core of any B2C business. Hence, it is important that any difficulties or grievances they face are addressed in the best and quickest way possible. But despite that, there are times that the customers may feel they haven't been rightly treated. This is true for the insurance industry as well. I think nobody likes it when sometimes things go wrong with our insurance policy or our claims get rejected. But the reality is, it sometimes happens. And if we talk about customer complaints, nearly one third of the consumer complaints received by the Department of Consumer Affairs are of the insurance sector. And honestly, despite of whose fault it might be, moments like these can be incredibly frustrating and leave us feeling like we are not being treated or heard right. As customers, sometimes we are not even aware what redressal mechanisms we have available. So, what are the disputes that we typically see in the insurance industry, and what systems are in place if things go wrong? To understand this and more, I have with me Rasika Kuber, who is the Chief Compliance Officer of Digit Insurance. Rasika has been associated with the company for nearly 6 years now and has been in the industry for over 13 years and has experience in compliance, corporate law, and governance. Rasika, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast.
Thank you, Sabri. Thank you so much for having me.
Rasika, I will dive right into my first question. So, we do know that there could be some instances that can get escalated into disputes. According to you, in insurance, what are the reasons or instances where most of the disputes are seen?
So, Sabri, the list of reasons or instances for disputes can be pretty exhaustive. However, from what I have seen, majority of the disputes arise due to reasons like there is a delay in settlement of claim on the part of the insurer, or probably the claim has been settled, but it has not been settled fully, so there is a partial settlement of claim.
Right,
There could also be quantum related disputes where the customer is probably expecting, say, X amount, but the insurance company pays up only Y amount. So there could be
right,
typically quantum disputes also. Apart from that, there are policy related disputes where customer probably has not received the policy document, or maybe they have signed up for something else and the document that they have received is not in correlation with what they had applied for. There could also be, apart from this, instances where customer has not been treated properly by the agent or intermediary, specifically with respect to their policy servicing or claims requirements. And
right.
last but not least, there could be instances where customer has paid money but they have not received the policy document. So these could be like the broad heads of why customers may have grievances against an insurance company.
Right. Rasika, like many customers might not be aware what redressal mechanisms they actually have. Can you explain in detail what solutions are available to the customer, like right from the company level and so on?
Sure, Sabri. So, a customer can approach the insurer through all possible touch points and raise
Right,
his or her grievances. There are specific grievance redressal details which are mentioned in the policy document as well as on the insurance company's website. This is a requirement that is mandatory for all insurers.
right,
This information that is published gives the escalation matrix also. So for every insurance company, there is a dedicated grievance redressal team. And on
right,
top of that, there is a GRO, which is a grievance redressal officer.
right,
This could be called by different names by different insurers, but in most commonly used references, it is called GRO, which is grievance redressal officer. And this
right,
officer is responsible for ensuring that each and every customer grievance that hits the insurance company through any mode is handled and disposed of in the correct manner. So this mechanism and the details are readily available, and customers can at any time approach the insurance company and raise their grievance.
right. But Rasika, like if you see customers usually are hesitant in filing a complaint because most of them think that it is going to be a very cumbersome process. So is filing a complaint cumbersome? How complicated is this entire process?
Okay. So filing a complaint, Sabri, I will not say is cumbersome as such, because
Right,
so when the customer is escalating to the company, that is a very fairly simple process. They have to write to the customer, to the company's email ID or whatever touch point the company has given. The customer can
right,
also walk into any of the branches. Each company's office has a dedicated grievance redressal officer. So there also they can go ahead and raise their complaint. It is the duty of each and every insurance company to record any grievance that comes in, either through a walk-in or through email or through telephone, anything. In fact, we are also required to take cognizance of complaints that come to us through social media.
right, correct.
So that is also a very, and there is no process per se, Sabri. So you can understand that customers can raise complaints in all possible manners. So
Right,
filing a complaint, I will not term it as a complicated process at all. And as insurers, we are very much responsible for taking cognizance of every complaint that reaches our desk in any manner.
right. Got it. But Rasika, there could also be instances where the insurance company has replied, but the customer might still not be satisfied. So in those instances, what else can the customer do?
Definitely. So, apart from reaching out to the insurance company and escalating grievance, the customer has a lot of other avenues to seek redressal. I'll just
Right,
briefly touch upon all the avenues. So, to begin with, actually, the customer has the option to reach out to the IRDA portal, which is now renamed as Bima Bharosa. It was earlier called as IGMS, the Integrated
right,
Grievance Management System. Now it has been renamed as Bima Bharosa. And
right,
this portal is something that IRDA has developed, and it has integrated with each and every insurance company's grievance management system. So any complaint that gets logged in Bima Bharosa is directly flown into the insurance company's grievance redressal process, and the company has to act upon it. And
right,
the customer can obviously go back and visit the portal, see what is the status. IRDA can also download reports and see what is happening in terms of customer grievance redressal on complaints
right,
that are filed on this portal. So
right,
this is a very effective means of getting resolution, apart from the first step of reaching to the insurer. Then I think the customers have two major avenues. One is reaching out to the ombudsman. The insurance
right,
ombudsman is of course a judicial body that that is in place in India to take care of
right,
grievances arising from insurance related matters. And we have seen that the ombudsman has been actively helping out customers to get their grievances redressed. So this is also a very simple and fairly approachable way in which customers can get their grievances redressed. Then
right,
there is another way, which is reaching out to the consumer dispute redressal commissions. Now there are three commissions which are currently acting in India. The
right.
first is at district level, the second at state level, and the third at national level.
Hmm.
Now, which complaint goes to which forum is depending on the pecuniary jurisdiction, basically the amount involved under the complaint. So
Okay.
there
Hmm.
are, yeah, so there are three layers, and the customers can, depending on how much is the amount involved in their complaint, decide on whether to approach the District Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission or State Consumer Redressal Commission or the National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission. So this detail is also very readily available, and all our policy documents, Sabri, give details of the ombudsman offices and the website. This
Okay.
is
Right.
readily available with the customer in their hands. Besides, we also publish all of this information on our website.
Right. Got it.
Hmm.
Hmm. Let me slightly turn this question. We usually hear of instances where consumers have filed a complaint, but are there instances where insurance companies also seek legal recourse? Because from what I understand, there are also cases of frauds that happen, right? So can you talk a bit about that? Like what type of frauds do we typically see, and in which lines of businesses, and or how common is it?
Yes, so frauds in insurance have definitely become a common phenomenon these days, and we
Right,
come across a lot of news reports also. In fact, I think just recently I read about this news report where in Begusarai in Bihar there was a fake policy document racket that was busted by the police
right,
there.
right,
So, so frauds can be of varied nature. Sabri. There is no one way for people to adopt fraudulent practices. And
right,
what we have seen is again restricting this to a particular line of business is also not the correct approach because frauds can happen across all LOBs. So,
right.
what
Mm,
maybe I can just briefly indicate here is that frauds can commonly be on of two types. One is on the policy type, policy level fraud, and the other one is
right,
claim level fraud. So, for
right,
policy level fraud, like I said, the most common example is forging policy documents. That is the most
right.
common example.
Mm,
When we come to claims, claims can be again, there can be many ways in which customers can defraud the insurance companies. Most common ones are again in say motor, we have these vehicle implant or driver swapping cases.
right.
And when it comes to health claims, we have come across instances where the hospitalization is false. So,
Okay.
so
Mm,
there, so the list is pretty endless. But wherever insurance company feels that okay, it has credible and substantial evidence with it, then certainly
right,
they approach the law enforcement agencies and file complaints.
right.
Even for a
Got it.
digit, now coming to this, and especially on the policy document thing that I was mentioning, Sabri, uh,
Right,
Digit has actually realized this thing, and to help our customers check the genuineness of the policy document, we have
right.
enabled a policy genuineness feature. So customers
Correct.
can
Yes,
come to the
yes.
website. Yeah, so you must be definitely aware. Customers can come to the
Yeah.
website, enter the policy number, policy start date, and verify genuineness of their policy document. So more and more insurance companies are driving various sorts of steps and measures to make sure that the customers know where to find out and how to find out whether their policy is genuine, whether the grievance addressal is happening effectively. So there is a lot of awareness that is happening on this.
Right. Got it. So, Rasika, now coming back to customers, do you feel there could be instances where a policyholder has not fully understood the policy terms, and maybe that has led to a complaint? Like, is that common? And what should customers ideally do to avoid such scenarios?
I completely agree that there could be instances where customers have not understood policy documents or the terms and conditions. And
Right.
I am sure till now, I think I have been coming across this very common complaint that policy documents do have a lot of jargon, very
Right.
heavy words, very heavy English also, and probably too technical legal terms. So for a
Correct. Yeah.
customer who is availing a policy, it is quite possible that he or she has not really understood what's written. So,
Right.
but again, there are practices these days which have picked up where companies are sending summary documents or say key feature documents, which give a
Right.
brief snapshot of what the policy is about or what are the major terms and conditions or the important ones.
Right.
I would specifically like to highlight what Digit has done in terms of simplification, and since simplicity is our motto,
Right.
I think, have done a very good job in terms of simplifying our policy documents. Our customers, we've received a lot of feedback that our policy documents are worded in a very simple and understandable manner. So
Yeah.
this
Correct.
is something that insurance companies can definitely look at. Apart
Right.
from that, each insurance company has this help desk team where they can go and refer their issues to.
Right.
Even the IRDA, for that matter, has been pretty active, and IRDA has been maintaining a website called policyholder.gov.in. So customers
Right.
can visit this website and say take more knowledge about insurance, about various types of insurance, about how policies work, etc. Apart from that, Sabri, I think if the customer has probably availed a policy through an agent or an intermediary, then that
Mm.
agent or intermediary is definitely a conduit for the customer to seek more details on or seek clarity on what the terms and conditions are. So they can definitely go back to their agent and ask questions. And I think Digit has, as a company, we have been very, very um, mindful about spreading insurance. If we visit our website, I think we have done a lot of blogs or videos or snippets
Correct.
to
Yeah.
spread customer awareness. I'm sure you have also actively participated in so much. In fact,
Right. Yeah.
this endeavor also is towards spreading awareness only.
Correct. Yes.
And
Yes.
the company, not just Digit, but the industry and the regulator, everybody is working in tandem to achieve this objective of creating more awareness and
Right.
tapping the potential for insurance in our country. So I think everybody is working towards this larger objective of insurance for all.
Right. Rasika, I'll come to my next question. So,
Yes.
we have been talking about complaints. So,
Hmm.
typically, what happens when a complaint is filed? The reason is that, the customer is feeling that they haven't been treated fairly. So, as
Right.
insurance companies, what can they do to make sure that any complaint or dispute is handled in a fair or a transparent manner?
Right. So, like I told you initially, Sabri, whenever there is a complaint that an insurance company receives, there is an escalation matrix. So, as per
Right.
the escalation matrix, there is a layer defined. So, once the complaint comes in, it's not necessary that the complaint is looked into only by one person. As per
Right.
the escalation matrix, different persons at different levels in the organization will review the complaint and come to their view of the complaint.
Right.
Secondly, most importantly, what we do and what every insurance company should do is that relook into the facts of the case and try and attempt to come to an amicable resolution wherever possible. So this is
Right.
definitely something that we should do as an objective. I think it is also important to understand that every grievance redressal function, and including ours here in Digit, this
Right.
function is independent. So it performs its grievance redressal processes, etc. Everything is done with an unbiased approach. And
Right.
while I say this, definitely the customers' interests are in mind, and at the same time, we do look at the merits of the case. So I think there is no means to for the customers to feel that the disputes are not handled fairly or transparently. Apart from that, I think IRDA as a regulator has consciously worked towards securing interests of the customers.
Right.
And
Yes.
why I say this is because there are a lot of reporting requirements around grievances, around litigation cases, etc. And
Right.
we, as an insurance company, are required to submit a lot of reports, to publish a lot of reports. So all of
Right.
this is again tracked and monitored on a very regular basis, and IRDA has been very conscious in driving consumer
Interest.
protection,
Right.
rather, yeah, and customer interests. Yes.
Right. So I'll just leave you with just this final question. Like, how can customers identify whether a company is good at settling claim or does not receive too many complaints? Because as you know, there are, I think, about 25 general insurance companies. So if I'm out in the market, I don't really have any metric. I might not have any metric to track whether to check these things. So, are there any of those metrics in place? What can a customer look at?
So, Sabri, a lot of information actually these days is available at fingertips. I mean, even if you go to a normal Google search, you'll find a lot of information that is published by third party or agencies, etc., who are not
Right.
insurance companies themselves, but they fetch data from companies' website and then they come up with their own analysis and maybe ratings, etc. But I think
Right.
what is the most credible source of information is that customers can refer to public disclosures of an insurance company. This
Right.
is available on the website on ongoing basis. It's mandatory for every insurance company to maintain and disclose this, and it is
Right.
updated on a quarterly frequency. So
Okay.
that can definitely be one way in which customers can go and check where the company stands. And the
Right.
disclosures are very elaborate. They run from right from your solvency margin disclosures to your offices, to the number of agents, employees, to grievances, to your claims, how much premium the company has does. So the amount of information that gets available through public disclosures is huge and can
Right.
definitely help the customers come to their own finding or reading in terms of how the company has fared. And apart from that, I think for now we are seeing this whole new generation using a lot of social media, millennials, etc.
Right.
So the
Correct. Yeah.
perspective of customers has changed drastically. I must
Right.
say, where we were 10 years down the line and where we are now, the way in which customers react or respond or probably uh, speak up for the experiences that they have had. So that
Right.
has
Correct.
changed. Social media has become a very good reflection of where each insurance company stands in terms of customer experience.
Right.
And like I said, one of the root causes of grievances is also social media, and we have to take cognizance of
Right.
grievances come to us through social media. So I think if the company has fared well on social media in terms of ratings, that could also be one of the parameters for general public to understand where and how the company stands. For and
Right.
specifically, I think for Digit, we must say that we have been consistently maintaining a rating of 4.8 on Google and 4.9 on FB. So
Right.
I think we that reflects the standards of customer experience that we have maintained and we strive for even in
Right.
future.
So I'll let you go now, I think, Rasika. Thank you so much. This was really an insightful conversation. And thank you so much once again for taking time of your busy schedule and joining us on the Insuring India podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Savri, for giving me this opportunity. It was really nice talking to you on this subject.
Thank you. Thank you, Rasika. We hope you all enjoyed this conversation. This was our little attempt in making sure you, as customers, know your rights, because this is the only way we can create a more customer centric insurance industry in India. That's all on this episode, folks. Do subscribe to us to keep getting notified whenever we drop something new. Thank you and see you next time.